Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. So, with this lesson, inshallah, we are going to begin with the first poem from the anthology by Natasha Trethewey. The name of this anthology is The Native God. The first poem from this anthology is The Theories of Time and Space. Okay, so you can get there from here, though there is no going home. Everywhere you go will be somewhere you have never been. Try this. Head south on Mississippi 49, one by one mile markers ticking off. Another minute of your life. Follow this to its natural conclusion. Dead end at the coast. The fire at Gulfport where rigging of shrimp boats are loose stitches in a sky threatening rain. Cross over the man-made 26 miles of sand dumped on the mangrove swamp. Buried terrain of the past. Bring only what you must carry. Time, tome of memory. It's random blackmail. On the dock, where you board the boat off board for Ship Island, someone will take your picture. The photograph, who you were, will be waiting when you return. By Natasha Trethewey. And in the end is an excerpt by an American hymn, which goes on by, I'm going there to meet my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. Okay, so we'll begin with the proper analysis of this poem. So before beginning the proper analysis, let me give you a very brief overview of this poem. So this poem, it navigates the journey of life, okay, and it highlights the themes of displacement, going from one place to another, and memory and the passage of time. What happens to our memory with the passage of time? So, through the speaker's guidance along Mississippi Highway 49 and the coastal landscape of Gulfport, this poet, Trethewey, captures the transient nature of existence. And what is she doing through this? She's emphasizing the inevitability of change and the impossibility of returning to a previous state of being. So the poem encourages readers to embrace the unknown future which we are planning to move into, and accept the cyclical nature of life and find meaning in the interconnectedness of past, present, and future. Okay, so stanza one. You can get there from here, though there is no going. So, in the opening stanza, the speaker presents a paradoxical assertion that while one can reach their destination from their current location, there is no possibility of returning home. So, this juxtaposition, it sets the tone of the poem and introduces the central themes of displacement and the passage of time. So, the phrase, you can get there from here, what does it do? It implies a sense of possibility. It implies a sense of movement. And what does it do? It suggests that progress and forward motion are achievable from any starting point. However, this optimism of going or moving from one place to another, this optimism is tempered by the subsequent declaration that comes right after this. What is it? That there is no going home. So this statement conveys a sense of finality and loss, suggesting that once one embarks on a journey, they cannot return to their previous state of being or reclaim what has been left behind. This suggests that home or the past, they cannot be fully revisited or recovered. No matter how familiar a place might seem, time changes everything, including our own experiences and perceptions of home. So the stanza captures the bittersweet nature of existence, highlighting the tension between forward momentum and the desire for stability and rootedness. Through these lines, Trethewey invites readers to contemplate over the complexities of human experience and the inevitability of change. So with this, we move on to the second stanza. Everywhere you go will be somewhere you have never been. Try this. So in the second stanza, the speaker continues to explore the theme of displacement and ever-changing nature of experience. So the opening line, everywhere you go will be somewhere you have never been. It highlights the idea that each new destination or experience brings with it a sense of unfamiliarity and novelty. For example, no matter how many times you visited the northern area or any other place, whenever you're going to visit that place for the second time or the third time, there will be things which have changed. Either that position, that place would have changed, that location would have changed physically or metaphorically or spiritually, or you would have changed. Therefore, you would try to get or elicit new meanings out of them. So this line emphasizes the transient nature of existence, highlighting how even familiar places can become unfamiliar as time passes and circumstances change. Why? Because time, history, and personal growth have altered them. So this reinforces the idea that while we can physically return to places, they are not the same. We can physically return to the places, but they might not be the same as we visited them previously because we might have changed and the places themselves might have also transformed. Any one of the it would have changed. So then comes the following direction, following directive, following command. Try this. It serves as an invitation. It serves as an invitation or challenge for the reader. Embrace this sense of newness and venture into the known. The idea which has been shared with us by the writer, by the poet. Now the poet is asking us that if we disagree with it, now then challenge yourself. Move on to this poem, and you will find out that whatever the poet is trying to suggest, is it right or wrong, or do you connect with it, or do you agree with it, or disagree with it? So it encourages a mindset of openness and curiosity, suggesting that growth and discovery they occur when one is willing to explore new paths and embrace new experience. Try this. Try what? Head south on Mississippi 49, one by one mile markers ticking off. So the third stanza shows the speaker providing specific instructions for a journey. Journey किधर है? Along Mississippi Highway 49. It is a road that runs through a region rich with historical and cultural significance, using vivid imagery to convey the passage of time and the inevitability of change. With every mile, every kilometer that you move forward, things are changing. Things are changing in your life, things are changing, the location is changing, everything is changing. Okay, so the directive head south, it signifies a journey in a particular direction, suggesting a deliberate movement forward. So the poem then becomes a metaphorical journey through memory and time. As the speaker describes one by one mile, markers ticking off, there is again a profound sense of progression and forward momentum. So the ticking off of the mile markers serves as not just physical distance but also as a metaphor for the passage of time, emphasizing the relentless march of seconds, minutes, and hours. They keep on going forward. They, they keep on marching forward. They do not stop for anyone or anything. So this could imply the inevitability of time's passage and the overall imagery, which highlights the themes of transience and highlights how time shapes our experiences and our perceptions. Additionally, the use of enjambment between lines creates a sense of continuity, mirroring the uninterrupted flow of time. Okay, enjambment. We can see enjambment here, here, enjambment here. So we can see this enjambment. So this enjambment again, it creates a sense of movement. It creates a sense of progression, continuity. Okay, and what does it mirror? What does it resonate? It mirrors the uninterrupted flow of time. This takes us to the fourth stanza. Another minute of your life follows. So, by one mile markers ticking off another minute of your life. Follow this to its natural conclusion. So, the speaker in the stanza continues to guide the reader along the journey, emphasizing the inevitability of reaching a final destination. The phrase another minute of your life underscores the passage of time and the transitory nature of existence, suggesting that each moment brings us closer to our ultimate end. So, the directive to follow this to its natural conclusion, dead end, it carries a sense of finality and inevitability, evoking images of reaching the end of a road or a path with no further options for progression. This imagery mirrors the broader themes of the poem, which explore again the transient nature of life and the impossibility of returning to a previous state of being. So, by presenting the journey as leading to a dead end, the stanza encourages readers to confront the reality of mortality and embrace the impermanence of existence. How this existence is impermanent. Again, how we need to face the challenge, how we need to confront the reality of mortality. The coast over here, uh, it the coming which is dead end at the coast, it represents a physical and symbolical boundary, the edge of the land, and perhaps the edge of memory or history. Then, at the coast, the pier at Gulfport, where riggings of ship boats are loose stitches. In this fifth stanza of Theories of Time Space, the speaker brings the reader to a specific location, the coast, specifically the pier at Gulfport. This setting serves as a metaphorical threshold between land and sea, or between civilization and nature. The coast represents the border between land, which is the known thing, which is stable, and between the sea, which is unknown and it is always changing. So, this idea of a threshold emphasizes a place of transition between stability and transformation. This idea of threshold emphasizes a place of transition between uh, stability and and transformation. Okay, the land is stable and the sea is always changing. So that fire happens to serve as a place of transition, as a place of threshold, as a threshold between stability, yani ki the land, and transformation, which is the sea. This mirrors the poem's larger themes of time and change. Okay, this life, every moment of life, it serves as a threshold in which one moment is changing into another. Okay, so it highlights the themes of time and change. The pyre, it is a man made structure that bulges into the sea, represents human efforts to extend into the natural world, but it also suggests vulnerability. It is a point where human control meets nature's vast, uncontrollable forces. So the image of riggings of shrimp boats are loose stitches. It connects the human world of fishing and industry of ship, shrimp, of boats with something as delicate as sewing, which is loose stitches. So the riggings of the boats, which are the ropes and equipment used to control the sails and the masts, they are described as loose stitches. What does it do? It evokes both literal fragility and a deeper symbolic meaning. The stitches, they suggest an attempt to hold things together, but they are loose. So their looseness implies that they could easily come undone. They can easily break off. This conveys a sense of impermanence and fragility in humans' efforts. Therefore, the use of the word loose hints at the transient nature of human endeavors in the face of larger forces such as time and change. So this stanza captures the tension between human intervention and the natural world, inviting readers to reflect on the ways in which we shape and are shaped by our surroundings. The metaphor of loose stitches also suggests that human activity, like fishing or building structures such as the fire, is tied to the natural world, but only tentatively. Okay, so these loose stitches, it suggests that the human activity, because that fire has been made by the men, those boats have been made by the men. So these loose stitches, it suggests the activity of human beings. So this activity of the human beings, the structures made by the human beings, they are tied to the natural world, but only tentatively. How? Humans may try to stitch together a stable existence with nature, but this relationship is delicate and dependent on the whims of environment. The environment, the atmosphere, the mood of the atmosphere can easily at any time ruin the the activities of human beings. So there is an inherent interconnectedness, but also a lack of control. So the natural world is something we participate in, but we do not dominate it. We do not control it. We only think that we can control it. The main dominating force is the nature in itself. So in fact, the looseness of the stitches, what does it hint? It hints at the idea that nature will eventually overcome us. Nature will eventually overwhelm all the struggles. It will overcome, it will overpower all the things, all the interventions which the human beings have made into the nature. So the human beings can only think that they can control the nature, but they, whatever they make, they serve as loose stitches as far as the nature is concerned. This takes us to the sixth stanza. What is this stanza? In a sky threatening rain, cross over the man made beach, 26 miles of sand. Let us connect it with the previous stanza. Riggings of shrimp boats are loose stitches in a sky threatening rain. Cross over the man made beach, 26 miles of sand. So, in the sixth stanza of the poem, the speaker continues to paint a vivid picture of the coastal landscape, highlighting the juxtaposition, the opposition between natural and the human made elements. So, the description of the sky as threatening rain, it creates a sense of foreboding, it creates a sense of tension that no matter what you have done, there is always a threat of the rain. There is always a threat of the nature which can easily come at any time and overpower all the struggles which are made by the human beings. So it highlights the juxtaposition between the natural and the human made elements. So the description of the sky as threatening rain, it creates a sense of tension, suggesting that change and uncertainty they are always looming on the horizon. The threatening rain adds to the mood of tension, as if a storm is coming, both literal and metaphorical. So, this imagery mirrors the broader themes of the poem, which explores the unpredictability of the time and the inevitability of the change. We cannot predict time. We cannot predict the mood and the atmosphere of the nature. Okay, we can only struggle. We can only try to intervene into the nature, but the nature will always overpower us. So this suggests, this explores, this highlights the themes of unpredictability of the time and the inevitability of it. No matter what you do, no matter how much you strive, the change is inevitable. Nobody can stop the change. So as the speaker instructs to cross over, क्या लिखा हुआ है इधर? हाँ? Cross over the man-made beach 26 miles of sand. So as the speaker commands, orders the reader to cross over the man-made beach, which is 26 miles of sand. What do? They draw attention to the artificiality of the landscape. Why? Because this is a man-made beach. This is made by the human beings. So the speaker, the poet, is drawing attention to the artificiality of the landscape and the ways in which human intervention has transformed the natural environment. It wasn't a beach, okay, na? It was sea, but the human beings intervened that beach and intervened that sea and transformed it into a beach. So that landscape is not natural. That landscape is man-made, therefore it is artificial. It has been made through human intervention. And what has it done? It has transformed the natural environment. So this imagery serves as a metaphor for the passage of time and the ways in which human actions shape and alter our surroundings. The man-made beach refers to the artificial beach in Gulfport where sand was brought in to cover the natural terrain. So by juxtaposing the man-made beach with the threatening sky, the stanza highlights the fragile balance between human activity and the broader forces of nature. I hope you understood it. Let's move on to the next stanza. 26 miles of sand dumped on the mangrove swamp, buried train of the past. So in this stanza, the speaker is delving into the theme of memory and its relationship to the landscape. The description of the man-made beach as dumped on a mangrove swamp, buried train of the past, suggests both physical and metaphorical transformation. The juxtaposition of the man-made beach with the natural mangrove swamp highlights the way in which human intervention can alter and hide the past. What was the past? The past was the mangrove swamp. Okay, but now it has been buried uh, into the past. Okay, now so, so what does it suggest? It suggests not only physical transformation, but it suggests metaphorical transformation as well. कैसे कि पहले it was a mangrove swamp and then it was a man-made beach. So this highlights the metaphorical transformation of the human intervention. That how can humans try to hide their past? Okay, na the how the nature designed and patterned out their past, but how with their future actions they can hide the past, but still they are unable to hide the past because that the way that mangrove swamp is already present over there in the past, at the same way their memories are also present over there. So this imagery serves as a metaphor for the selective nature of memory, how our memory is selective and how it tries to remember some things and forgets other things. So this imagery serves as a metaphor for the selective nature of memory, with certain aspects of the past buried beneath layers of time and experience. So this is a key metaphor in the poem, the buried terrain of the past. Just as the swamp was covered by sand, history too can be, past too can be buried, altered or forgotten. But even though it is altered, even though it is buried, even though it is forgotten, it still exists underneath. So, this idea of covering up nature with something man made reflects the way memory and history are often manipulated or obscured. This takes us to the eighth stanza. Bring only what you must carry, tome of memory, its random blank pages. So, in the eighth stanza, the speaker continues to explore the theme of memory, offering guidance on what to bring on the journey. So, the instruction to bring only what you must carry emphasizes the importance of simplicity and priority instruction. So, it emphasizes the importance of simplicity and prioritization, urging the reader to travel lightly and let go of unnecessary baggage and burdens of the past. So, this stanza encourages reflection on the ways in which our memories shape our identities and perceptions of the world around us. So, the instruction to bring only what you must carry also suggests a selective approach to memory. And then the metaphorical tome of memory. Tome किसे कहते हैं? Tome is a thick book, a journal, a notebook. So the tome of memory, which is metaphorical with its random blank pages, suggests that the memories are inherently selective and incomplete, with some aspects of the past left unwritten or forgotten. This imagery highlights the fragmented nature of memory and the ways in which our recollections are shaped by personal biases and experiences. Stanza 9. On the dock where you board the boat for Ship Island, someone will take your picture. In this ninth stanza, the speaker shifts the focus to a specific moment in the journey, boarding the boat for Ship Island. The mention of the dock serves again as a transitional point, as a threshold, okay, na, in the journey, symbolizing a departure from the familiar and the readiness to embrace the unknown, and a threshold between the present and a deeper confrontation with history. So, the act of taking a picture freezes a moment in time, capturing who you were at that specific instant. So, the mention of someone taking the reader's picture suggests a sense of external validation. जैसे हमारी आईडी कार्ड होते हैं, पासपोर्ट्स होते हैं. When we are moving from one country to another, our passports, our pictures are clicked onto the passport. Okay, and once you are done with that journey, that picture of that passport can remain the same. But you, after taking that journey, when you are going to be returning, you might have completely changed. Then there won't be any resemblance between you and the picture that was taken. So the picture that has been taken, it serves as an external validation. What does it do? It emphasizes the significance of this moment in the broader context of the journey. How that very moment of the threshold when your picture was taken is now completely different from after the journey has completed. So the photograph captures a snapshot of who the reader once was, serving as a tangible reminder of their past experiences and identity. So this imagery underscores the theme of memory and the ways in which our past selves continue to shape our present identity. The mention of Ship Island, with its connotation of exploration and discovery, reinforces the idea of embracing the unknown and venturing into new territory. Overall, this stanza conveys a message about the transformative power of journeys and the importance of embracing change and the uncertainty as we navigate the ever changing landscape of our life. With this, we move on to the last stanza. The photograph, who you were, will be waiting when you return. So, in the final stanza of Theories of Time and Space, the speaker reflects on the cyclical nature of journey and the passage of time. The photograph represents a version of yourself, perhaps incomplete or distorted, as photographs often are when compared to the complex reality of experience and identity. आपकी photograph है, उसके अंदर you are smiling, but that is completely in isolation to the place, to the moment, to the time in which you were present in that moment when that picture was clicked, when that picture was snapped. Okay, now so that photograph represents a version of yourself, but it might be completely distorted. It might be incomplete. Why? Because photographs are compared, excuse me, as photographs. They are often compared to the complex reality of experience and identity. With it, it also suggests a connection between past and the present self, highlighting the ways in which our identities are shaped by our memories and experience. Because whatever the memories you have, it might have some influence over your present. And whatever future experiences that are going to take place, it might influence your present again. It might influence your past. It might be completely different. So the phrase will be waiting when you return. ये वाला जो phrase है, will be waiting when you return, suggests that the photograph, which is a fragment of the past, will remain unchanged, waiting for you when you come back. Therefore, the photograph serves as a tangible reminder of who the reader once was, capturing a moment in time that will continue to exist even as they embark on new journey and undergo further transformation. However, you, the person, will be different. That photograph that was clicked previously before the journey, before the new experiences, it would remain same. But you, after the journey, might have completely changed. You might be completely a different person as compared to the moment in which that picture was clicked. So this conveys a sense of inevitability, suggesting that no matter how far one travels or how much one changes, there will always be a connection to one's past self. So this reinforces the idea that while images and memories might be preserved, we ourselves are constantly changing. When you return, you are no longer the same person, even if the photograph remains static. So this imagery highlights the theme of memory and the ways in which our past selves continue to influence our present identities or our future experiences try to or continue to influence and continue to bring changes in our character. This takes us to the final section, which is a traditional hymn, a traditional American hymn. So this concluding excerpt is from a traditional American hymn. क्या है ये? I am going there to meet my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. So this is a traditional American hymn, which is often associated with the hope of crossing into the afterlife, meeting loved ones, and finding peace over there in the afterlife. So it reflects themes of death, transition, and reunion, reinforcing the poem's focus on the impossibility of returning to a past self and the idea of home as an elusive, perhaps even spiritual concept. It takes us back to the very first stanza, in which what did the poet say? You can get there from here, though there is no going home. Okay, So with this, we are going to move on to the themes of this. In fact, before themes, we must first talk about the structure and form of this poem. So this poem by Natasha Trethewey, it is structured as a series of 10 couplets. This structure creates a sense of unity and cohesion throughout the poem, with each couplet contributing to the overall theme and message. The lack of discernible rhyming scheme over here, it gives the poem a free verse form, allowing the poet to focus more on the imagery and the flow of ideas rather than adhering to a strict rhyme pattern. This freedom in form mirrors the theme of the poem. What does it do? It explores the unpredictability of time and space. So, despite the absence of rhyme, the poem still maintains a rhythmic quality through its use of frequent enjambment and varied sentence length. The rhythmic flow propels the reader through the poem, mirroring the continuous movement of time and space described within the verses. This takes us to the theme. First theme, as I was previously told as well, is displacement. Trethway conveys this theme through imagery such as the speaker's journey along Mississippi Highway 49, where there is no going home, and everywhere you go will be somewhere you have never been. So, this notion of constantly moving forward without the possibility of returning suggests a sense of dislocation and the inevitability of change. Okay, now the change will take place. It is impossible to return to the past. Okay, now you will change, things will change will happen. Memory. Second theme happens to be memory. So Trethway portrays memory as both fragile and selective, emphasizing its role in shaping one's identity and understanding of the past. For example, the speaker advises to bring only what you must carry. Tome of memory, its random blank pages. This metaphorical tome of memory represents the fragmented and incomplete nature of personal memories. Because if the memory is being compared with a tome, with a thick notebook, then obviously there will be some spaces which would be left unwritten in those journals. There will be pictures, there would be blank pages, there would be blank spaces. Some places would be written, some papers would be left out. So the memory is fragmented. The memory is sometimes fragmented and it is sometimes selective as well. And then to the last theme, which is the passage of time. Passage of time is the central theme of this poem. Trethewey explores how time transforms landscapes, memories, and identities. The journey along Mississippi Highway 49 serves as a metaphor for the passage of time. This imagery conveys the relentless progression of time and the transient nature of existence. Furthermore, the description of the man made beach covering the natural terrain symbolizes how human intervention alters and obscures and hides the past, highlighting the theme of impermanence. So, as the time is going to move forward, things which are present in our present life, they are going to change. So, it highlights the theme of impermanence. Okay, this brings us to the literary devices that are present in this poem. The first literary device happens to be the imagery. The poem references maps and travel, which symbolize exploration and the quest for understanding. So, maps can also represent the way we try to make sense of our world and our place within it. Symbolism. Thetwe also utilizes symbolism to enrich the poem's meaning. The man made beach covering the natural terrain serves as a powerful symbol of human intervention and the distortion of the past. The speaker describes it as 26 piles of sand dumped on a mango swamp, buried terrain of the past. This image symbolizes how human actions can alter and obscure the natural landscape, mirroring the ways in which memories can become distorted or buried over time. This brings us to personification. The mile markers along Mississippi Highway 49 are described as if they are ticking off another minute of your life. So, by personifying the mile markers as though they are actively measuring the passage of time, the poet emphasizes the relentless progression of time and the inevitability of change. Through the use of these devices, the poet skillfully conveys the various the devices enrich the poem's imagery, and deepen its meaning, inviting readers to contemplate the complexities of human experiences and ever changing landscapes of our lives. With this, we are going to end this lesson. So, if there are any questions, you can feel free to ask anytime. Jazakallah.